Hello and welcome. My name's Derek and I sell physical media on eBay. I make videos about that. This is a What Sold video. Everybody wants to rule. Alright, stop the music. So it is 11 for 261. Now, usually of recent handful of months, I'm not making videos unless it's 400 in sales or $100 item, and it's neither. This I just want to kind of talk about, bread and butter stuff. Sales aren't exactly where they should be. It's teetering on going back up. Even with the limited stuff that I do have and a lot of the stuff that I've taken down, I've got probably 2,600 listings, and I try to stay around 3,000 because at 3,000 mark, throughout all the years, I figured most of the time it's easily 1,000 or more a week payout. It's been less of that because I have less stuff. A couple real local errands to run today, and then I can get 40 or 50 things listed. And then tomorrow, I gotta go somewhere much farther. All right. So to find out what it is, I have to get the stuff. But we are at Corey Asbury, Reckless C43. All right, Corey Asbury, 18. So it's 1853. It's at 18. Just at 19. Oh well. I round up or round down. It all kind of evens out at the end. This is what I want to get with bread and butter. If there's 11 sales, right, and the product cost received or the purchase price or whichever is basically $250 out of 11, that falls within the bread and butter range for some. I mean, to me, anything under 20 is basically bread and butter stuff. So we have this Best of Gaither, the Gaither Vocal Band, 26. And bread and butter, that stuff pays bills. I'd like to not have a bunch of $20 things, but for the price I pay, or what most people would pay otherwise for physical media, even $10, $12 items still have a good enough ratio, especially if you consider the amount of time that you have vested in the item. So you're at a store and you're looking, and that store you spend an hour in and you get 20 things. Well, then if you want to really do that math, and you have 3 minutes in that one item, and you come home and you kind of sort it. Now you have another minute. And then you got to get pictures. Now you have another minute. Then you got to put it away. Now you've got a couple more minutes. So you might have 7 minutes in a item that's going to sell for $15, which ultimately that's probably $8, pretty much, give or take, 7 to almost 9. So if there's 7 of those, 7 times 7 is 49. There's another one, 7 times 8. And even if we're going to do the math at 7, it's 49. It's $50 an hour if that's the metric you want to use. Selling bread and butter stuff. All right, this one here, $21. So I can also go by how much time I believe arbitrarily, how much time I believe I spend each week in going out, sourcing stuff, getting pictures, listing, putting away, and then taking it back out to package. 30 hours. And if my payout, not just the sales, my payout, a payout or a sales week could be 2,000. My payout could be just over $1,000. Depends on all the other small factors. If that's the case, 2,000 in sales out of 30 hours a week, that's 70 an hour. B16. So this is an interesting book, The Performance Boat Bible. Sold it before, got back to me because it's undeliverable. Listed it not too long ago, relisted it not too long ago. $33. D37, Town Without Pity. So these were, at one point, a little more. Town Without Pity, I've got another one still. But this one is $13. So you can see for the most part, looking at bread and butter. Let's see what's next here. Well, this one's a tad over, and then the next one is below. So prevention, strong total body fitness, D20. Now this body fitness, $22. C24. And then I already have it plugged in and almost set up. Nakamichi. Got a Nakamichi DR3 cassette deck yesterday for $200. Very, very clean. The transfer, the carrier, I mean, all that all sounds really, really good. Put a tape in there. It moved both directions for at least played for about a minute, and then I also rewound and fast forward. Sounds great. They're probably minimum they are 200, but they can sell around 4. There's different versions, the DR1 and DR2, which are 3-head decks. The one I have is a 2-head deck. C24 Gaither. Oh no, this is Getty. Keith and Kristen Getty. $10.50. All right, so $10, $11. C22 Morris Day Color of Success. This one is open. Morris Day Color of Success. $20. Hemorrhage C25. What was it? Hemorrhage in my hands or hemorrhage in my... Was that Bush? Hemorrhage. Live? I just remember that exact word right there, right? So, this hemorrhage. 19. Skins. Volume 1. So this one's a little bit above bread and butter. However, the main point of this video is to say, there's stuff that's, I guess, multifaceted. If you want stuff that is real easy to picture and easy to package, I'm not going to use a cliche, physical media. You can go out and go get some for 1/10 the price of something that's $50 that could sell for $50 or what have you. I mean, money, profit is profit, but if it's a $50 something that's going to require 5 minutes of getting bubble wrap and this and that, putting it in a box and paying $11, whatever it may be, all that is all loss. You bought an item. Your anticipated amount that you're going to get is this amount right here, your total, and then you've got to start adding in all the little micro things to that $50. So you paid $10 for something to sell for $50, regardless of the shipping, or say $50 total. You have to add in all that little stuff. So maybe now you're at $20. You could spend $10 on physical media and have $300 of stuff, and the shipping is going to be the same amount. It's going to most of it's going to go in a bubble mailer. That's going to be $4.29 to ship, $4.39 to ship. So if you're in a category and you want to look at and learn other categories of stuff that's just takes up a whole lot less space, and the cliche I usually use, if you've been here for a while, then you know it. If not, ask your mom. Skins, $40, 40. It's ex-library. This is called Fushigi Yugi. Fushigi. Hold on a minute. Wasn't that the magic ball? The Fushigi? I think that's what they were called. You can do like David Bowie did in Labyrinth. That's probably why somebody marketed that. And you're like, you know what? There's going to be a lot of people of a certain generation who's going to remember that and thought that that was the coolest thing. We need to make a toy that's just like that. That we could pay people that know how to do that and keep a ball on their hands. But Fushigi Yugi. This book, second edition, Art of Fushigi Yugi, the Mystery Play YUU, Watasi, hardcover. So you look at it this way. Looks like the some stuff from like Sailor Moon. $40, 40. Had it for a little while. Finally sold. Goodness, I got those bigger envelopes too. Oh, and one more. C23. Mike and Peggy Seeger. It's actually that right there. Mike and Peggy Seeger. Working on a... That's Bob Seger. And it's spelled different. All right, American Folk Songs for Children. $12. And that is, I mean, if you take even a $12 sale from that, that's $2.38 out of 10. I would have been almost 24. It's the bread and butter, keeping that stuff listed. I mean, I have myself to kind of kick myself because of a lot, just not really going out as much and getting as much and listing as much. But if this even plays as an example that if things happen, life happens, right? And you have to start doing a whole bunch of other things and you really don't get out as much and you don't list as much. It is true, the more you list and the more you stay active on eBay, the more active it's going to be for you. However, if you're limited on new things that you could put up because of other limitations, payouts have been lower, but things still sell. I'm not saying to only have 100 things listed and then stop listing. And then we're like, well, Derek, God, he does pretty good. Well, I've got 2,600 listings, and I try to maintain 3,000 because I know what the 3,000 mark will do. But maybe just let this be of more recent, that if you look back at a lot of my videos, I would go sourcing at least every other day, and I was listing easily close to 200, if not less. Well, it would be less, I know that. Listings a week. So now I might put up 50 a week and I might go sourcing twice. And the sourcing is just going to be local. So I ran around yesterday and went out to Beulah because I thought that Nakamichi that I was interested in, which I bought, was out in Madison. So that was a misunderstanding on my end. So she agreed on a fair enough price. And so then I went from basically right over by the PA border, so 40 miles east, turned around, came back home, dropped my little bag off of the few things I got. I'll show you in a second. So I got that many and 4 frames, eyeglass frame sunglasses, a jackal, some more manga. So I made a video last night, but it wasn't recording, like my voice was all bubbly. It does that every once in a while when I go to make like a live short or whatever it is. It'll be all bubbly. But a lot of this stuff, these squiddables, these are like $30. This one right here, it's like $50. The Squiddables Volume 1. This Chuck Jones collection, $40 sealed with Ricky Dicky Tabby. Got two of these things, a Pat Benatar, Live in New Haven, a couple CDs. It's like $40 I spent yesterday on, I think it was 17 items I said in the video. Which, I mean, since it turned out all bubbly, I posted it last night. It turned out fine when I edited it, and then when I was playing it back, it turned out weird. So, but I got some stuff over in Ashtabula, then I had to come all the way. Then I came back, dropped that off, and whatever I got. Grabbed the cassette and drove like middle, not too far from here, South Euclid. It's still about a half an hour because where that area is, there's like no immediate highways right there. And then I was there at like 3:30. Right, so trying to get in and out, relatively busy area. While I was out and about, that still gave me the opportunity, and I do that as much as I can. Stop at different places. Beulah didn't really pan out. That's a nice cassette deck for a 2-head cassette deck, and it's not gonna be. I really don't know on where or when. I said this in the video too, on where and when I got fixed on Nakamichi. However, when it comes down to brands for certain groups of audio equipment, so you're going to have, I'm not going to name all the brands. For Nakamichi or for cassette decks wise, unless you're going to pay way up, which still Nakamichis are way up there, there's a couple that will surpass Nakamichi until the Nakamichi Dragon surpasses all of them. The Revo but it's not. If someone says, hey, I have a cassette player, is it Nakamichi? No, then you've got something that plays tapes. Nakamichi is just way better. So, I don't know really when or why I got. I don't know. It could have been way when ago when, when I used to do some crossover work. Late 90s? 96? No, could have been 90. So 94, 95 maybe. And then late 90s. I went back there and started helping him again. But anyhow, way off topic. So though I went outsourcing, I still got some stuff good, great. But when I go on those longer sourcing routes, and I'm hitting 6, 7, 8, and summer's halfway done, right? So we have the rest of July and August. That's that. And then September and going into the rest of the year. So it's the daily. It's like there's still a lot of days left for me to catch up for the not very, but somewhat lax already this year. Little things constantly happen. That's life. And to me, yeah, I was like, I can go do this and then be done and then hurry up and go run. I am like most people when it comes down to the work. So I start this video. Actually, I kind of chilled on the couch for a little bit. Right around 9 o'clock, it's like, all right, I'll go ahead and start a video. I don't have my watch on. And then it's 9:30. I thought this one. There you go, 9:30. And I'm done with this, and depending on everything else that I'm doing. Okay, cool. Never knew that. You could just shake the phone and flashlight comes on. At least for that, it's an iPhone. Where's I going? Oh, and then no matter what I'm doing, my work is done. Anywhere from 2 to 3 to 5 o'clock. If I'm out and about, I'm trying to be done. If it's local, I could be back around 6. That way I'm not, and even I still want to be home. around 5 or 6. Start around 9, be done anywhere from 4 to 6, 3. My days vary. I still work as like a normal person, those normal hours. I could go out and constantly hit those. At the end of the day, if you're of anyone aged 40 and above, and if you go to a lot of thrift stores and estate sales, you know what at least 6 hours of the driving and in and out and out. So if you go to a lot of thrift stores, you know what those 6, 7 hours are going in and out of 5, 6, 7, 8 thrift stores. You'd be like, I could go to that last one. No, because I know how I'll feel tomorrow. So that's going to wrap that one up. Like what you heard, like what you saw, like what you learned. What was the point? Oh, bread and butter stuff. I mean, if you're going to have 10 cents, 50 cents, a dollar, whatever it may be in most physical media, and if it's going to sell for 12 to 15 bucks, you're still making $4 to $7 on that just direct sale. Then you have to look at all the other micro costs. But let's just say it's $5 on every single sale, and you have plenty of those, and you can process 12 of those an hour. Roughly, I mean, it really varies, 10 to 15 an hour. Yet we can see where the math is going. It's easy baseline work for physical media because of the totality of the amount of cost you have wrapped up in an item. Let me think of going up. Comment down below. Subscribe, share. It's all free. It helped me help you. So we can help other people learn about selling physical media on eBay. Appreciate it. Thank you.